Third-generation banana growers Gavin and Stephen Mackay know a thing or two about growing bananas. Their family's farming operations in Tully, Far North Queensland span over 70 years. It should therefore come as no surprise that the long-term sustainability of the industry in the region lies close to their hearts. In July of 2017, the Mackay family encountered one of the biggest challenges facing the Australian banana industry, when a small area of one of their farms in the Tully Valley became infested with Panama disease tropical race 4, approximately 2 years after the first Queensland outbreak. Upon detection, Mackay's affected property was given a notice of presence of Panama disease tropical race 4, outlining the requirements of the risk minimisation processes and procedures needed in order to operate their business.
When you get a biosecurity notice, it is quite simple, or I think of it quite simple in the fact that there's no plant or soil movement from your farm. There's a number of ways you can do that with just that outcome in mind. And it's really up to the individual farm and probably how you're organised beforehand to be able to achieve that.
Biosecurity has always been a consideration for the Mackay family, realising the importance of keeping good separation between their farms. Following the initial incursion of TR4 on a nearby property, Mackay strengthened their biosecurity by investing in a comprehensive plan, tackling things such as fencing, zoning and staff training. Having this plan in place meant they were better prepared and able to continue operating shortly after being given a notice. However, there were still additional works needed and challenges to be faced.
We farm on either side of a public space, so there's a public road going straight up through the middle of our farm. So that was quite a challenge. We needed to establish clean roads into our sheds to enable us to get fruit from the other side of the public road into our shed. Also, to be able to transport it across the public road, we need to establish a set of transfer points where we could transfer clean trailers of fruit from one side of the road to the other, and also the parcel of land further down the road up into our packing facility. For our fruit to pass, to be able to send bananas, we have inspectors in the shed, and they actually inspect one carton every pallet in line. So as we're packing, they're inspecting cartons and ensuring that the product we're sending out meets biosecurity requirements. Plant material is the big challenge. So we decided to really pay a lot of attention to our bagging of our bunches, calling that bunch protection. Actually making sure that as best we could there was no bracts or no leaf material in those bunches. We stepped up our rodent control measures. One of the things with plant material in bunches, as soon as you've wet it, it's going to be much harder to detect and a lot harder to remove. So we took to inspecting the bunches dry and locating any leaf material in the bunches. If there was any rats' nests in there, we put those bunches aside to either deal with separately or even not pack, depending on the situation. So, and then after that, we've actually got some air blowers, some people there with blowers just to blow any stuff out that we can't see. It's really important to identify that leaf at that stage, because if you don't and you put it in a trough, it can end up on fruit anywhere. Really hard to control after that point. So yeah, that was good advice we got from BQ very early on to adopt those procedures, and I think it's probably one of the key points to us keeping leaf out of our cartons.
Both Stephen and Gavin realised at an early stage that a commitment from the people they employ was critical to the success of their biosecurity plan.
To make our people more aware and to get them involved, there was a fair process in having toolbox talks and the likes, and short meetings with our key staff. Both our key staff and the majority of the staff fully understood the commitment they were making going into this process. It was something very new to them, so it took a number of times to get to that point before they had a full understanding. But once they did, then they were the people who were driving the day-to-day biosecurity measures, not us, because we couldn't be there all the time for them. We had other commitments with the biosecurity, so they had to take ownership of it. Yeah, so it took a while. They'd had some training before because we were conscious of biosecurity after the first incursion. Then we took it to another level once we had our incursion. Yeah. Also, part of that process was their jobs. We actually changed the name of some of the tasks they were performing, like bagging to bunch protection. It was a critical control point in the biosecurity process, is to have a clean bunch come into your farm so you're not carrying any dirt or leaf. So that meant both a training of the individuals to meet that commitment, plus, yeah, to give them a bit more responsibility. The change of name meant they had ownership of that particular task more than ever before.
Despite the serious consequences of farming with TR4, the Mackays have found positives resulting from their commitment and investment.
Some of the good things that have come out of this have been really good, like staff engagement. We're always very keen on letting everybody know in our staff what was happening and how that was going to affect them and us. And then, like, our sheds have never been so clean, you know, like the guys from the paddock used to walk through the shed with muddy boots and all that sort of stuff for smoko, and that doesn't happen now. The sheds are just a really nice, clean area to operate in, which makes the shed a lot easier to operate.
Now that we live with biosecurity at a high level on our property, there's always the spin-offs that you don't see in the beginning. Some of the tasks we do now make our life easier. To actually, our bunches are coming in cleaner into the shed, and better outturn of our fruit in the quality sense.
Starting the conversation on biosecurity has been pivotal in the development and ongoing adoption of Mackay's biosecurity plan.
That thing that biosecurity offer, you know, like to come to your farm and have a talk to you about how it might affect you, is a good thing, because they're going to tell you what you can't do, but probably also tell you how you can tackle some of your problems as well, because the more people are looking at the same problems and solving them in different ways. So although you might think that you have an insurmountable hurdle you can't cross, you know, like they might have been to another farm that has tackled exactly the same problem easily. It's not a thing you can just stick your head in the sand and hope it'll go away, because it won't go away. So you need to engage people and talk to them about, you know, solutions, I think, because there are solutions out there. Some might not be so easy, but I think that, yeah, if you don't at least talk to somebody, engage people about it, that, you know, you won't find the solutions.
Forward planning is the key to having a successful, biosecurity plan. An early start, just doing what you can afford to do, and some of those things doesn't have to be a capital expenditure. It can be just having more toolbox talks with your staff, so that at least when you get an outbreak, there's a level of understanding in your business what the risk is. Even if you start like we did with, you don't want to let anything get onto your farm. The only thing you need to do and change is totally reverse it when you do get an outbreak, and change the process around to being not taking anything off. At least your people have a full understanding of, not bringing stuff on in the beginning. A lot of the stuff we've done in our business is a longer term investment in what we're trying to achieve, because at the end of the day, we think we're doing now what's probably going to be required of all of us in the future, is to go to that new level, and we're learning firsthand how to achieve it, and I think it's giving our staff great satisfaction that they're one of the crews leading the charge for how biosecurity might look on a farm in the future.